This is a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Any other use of this telecast, or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the Oklahoma Sports Network's consent is prohibited. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be used without express written consent.
Well, welcome to our favorite hangout on Tuesday. It is the hangout on Cash Road, right next to Anderson Pharmacy. You can't miss us, and we have been going hard and strong. Actually, this started back in the summer, if you can remember, where we actually had our media day here with them hosting, and so that was our first stab at it. And then we have gone strong from 0 week all the way to 10 regular season games and the first week of the playoffs. And guess what? We still have some of our teams representing week 2 in the playoffs, and we're excited to bring you here at the Hangout. But first things first, Miss Natalie's going to tell us all about there's so much going on here. In fact, he was kind of telling me something that you're going to add with billiards, too, on top of your karaoke night, and I just can't keep things straight. So how's it been going?
It's been going great.
Tell you what, you go ahead.
Was my mic on?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, everything's been going great. We've been just fast and furious.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is, you have karaoke on Wednesday. What are you adding on Thursday now? Is it a billiard kind of a 9-ball?
Yeah, there's some billiard 9-ball
tournament
league. I think
league okay,
play, yeah.
league play that's starting. So you can come check out the billboards. We still have the lunch special for $9.95, and then brunch on the weekends, right?
Yes, both Saturday and Sundays we have a brunch menu available along with our regular menu. And
I also want to say that, too, that we're never too early. We talked about this last time. Holidays are coming up. I don't need to remind you, Thanksgiving is next Thursday. That's not the holiday I'm worried about. After Thursday, things really start to pick up and we start getting into the Christmas holiday. And some people have to have those office parties much earlier because they don't want to compete with everybody else's functions. So that first part of December really gets kind of congested when it comes to booking things. So you guys are ready to book for holiday parties, right?
We are. We've already booked quite a few. So but we do have a few spots left, just depending on the day and the time. We can try to make it work. So.
Okay, so pizza, first and foremost, award-winning pizza. They used to be out of a pizza truck historically, and I had a little bit of Elgin ties, and then you finally had the brick and mortar here set up, and so excited to have that. And so you can get salads, you can get burgers, but you can get wings, some of the best, meatiest wings around here at the Hangout. But the pizza is first and foremost. In fact, I saw someone that I knew over in my neck of the woods on the east side of town that was just stopping by to get a pizza to go, taking it home. Yes. So you can do that too, so carry out.
Yeah, definitely. We'd get a lot of people that call it in and swing by and pick it up and take it home.
All right. So, Natalie, thank you very much for being our host for this week of second week of the playoffs. We got the Elgin Owls in the house, and we've got a lot to talk about. So we'll do that right after this timeout as you're watching the Coaches Show right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton's newest hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road. A family-friendly atmosphere featuring their award-winning pizza and calzone, made fresh daily from their secret family recipe, with handcrafted burgers, wings, appetizers, salad, and homemade desserts, including deep-fried banana pudding. Come hang out with us. The Hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road in Lawton.
Well, I've said it many times that we love what we do here at the Oklahoma Sports Network. 11 teams in the network, 9 of them played in week 1, and we are so happy to see that. And then after week 2, we still have 5 of them playing, and we want to brag those up as well, that we're going to be across the network with Del City, Carl Albert, Newcastle, and Walters. And we hope to see the Walters Blue Devils a little bit at the conclusion of this show. They have a little bit of practice stuff that they got to get finished, and, of course, coming from Walters, about a 30-minute drive to get here, so they want to be a part of that so they can talk about their matchup with Dibble. But first things first, we have the Elgin Owls with us each and every week. And I was saying this at the very beginning, Coach, is that it seemed like a long time ago we had a media day here that was in the summer, and we kind of talked about what the season looked like and how that was going to unfold. And then we had a full regular season games, first week of playoffs, and let's just get to your success. Congratulations on a great win. I'm sure you like to get that monkey off your back from a last year experience where you hosted a playoff game and you say, well, that's not how we wanted to finish, and so you were all about the business for this year. And so talk a little bit about that win from Friday night.
Yeah, that was big time against a tough opponent. That's the main thing going into that. It's 1 versus 4, but Piedmont is really solid in what they do, and they can give you fits if you're not sound against them. So to get the job done week 1, kind of get back game, whatever you want to call it. But I thought that we handled business and played extremely well on both sides of the ball at times, and that's 1 of 4 is what we've been saying, and so to get that one is exactly what we wanted.
Well, I know they had a videographer that shared that. It's been on social media, and if you didn't get to see that, they saw you in the huddle talking to the players of 1 of 4, and that was really the statement for that. And if you don't know what that means, you have 4 playoff rounds to get to that state title game, and you want to be there at 4 and then a win at 4 to win it all for a state gold ball. So one other thing that I heard with that social media sharing of that is the first maybe playoff home win in like 13 years. Is that correct?
Yeah, first playoff win in 13 years, home or on the road. So to do that, that's also big time for just Elgin and the kind of the direction that we're headed as a program and what we want to continue to do moving forward.
Chalmer Wyatt, our head coach guest for the Elgin Owls. Okay, a couple of questions I was thinking about, as I was coming over here is what defines this team?
I think toughness is the first thing that jumps out at you. Guys that have a strong willingness to win, and we've done a good job of showing that the last few weeks, and I think that that's important as we get here to the very end, as we want to continue to do those things and do them well and try to play our best ball at the end. But that's what you see is the first thing is toughness, and we've got a lot of good football players on the field. And, if we're doing our job and playing to our standard, it's fun to watch us.
Question number 2, what makes this team so special?
Probably being, our seniors have had a long career, it feels like. I feel like Matt Lund's been taking carries for a long time, and he has. It's been a long time
record
coming.
carrying.
It's been a long time coming, and that's kind of that speaks for all of our senior class, and our junior class has been around for a while, and that's what it takes is kind of just being seasoned, getting to be upperclassmen, because a lot of these guys played when they were younger, and it was tough when they were younger. So to get them where they're at now, and to really see the success that I've always thought that we could get, that's what's really special about us.
Now, it's interesting when you saw that. When was the first time that you recognized that? For most of us that know the nucleus of what you're talking about, that they played youth ball together, all these pictures are compared. If you're part of the Elgin fan base, you'll kind of know that, some of these seniors and juniors, you'll see them in grade school uniforms together, all in the same picture, and you kind of compare it to then and now. So when did you start to say, wow, okay, it's one thing to have them as a nucleus of playing together, but I think, just as you said, it's special. How far back did you see that?
I saw it when our sophomores were 6th graders, our juniors were 7th graders, and our seniors were 8th graders. Just watching them run around and their little love for football. Then, I was very excited to start implementing our program and our culture and things in them early. and they're talented, and that's what you got to have, and they're coachable on top of that. But yeah, that's really when it happened, is when I just kind of got here and saw the guys in those grades. You know, I say guys, they weren't guys then, but no, that's when it was, and you know, it's been a long time coming, and it's been a slow build, and I'm proud of where we're at.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the swag. I love the shirt. You know, I think you said Blue Moon, I think may have put that together, or one, you know, someone around in the local area. What do you have in the back? Is the team? I guess. All the players. Yeah. For the playoffs, but I love playoff swag, and I love all the stuff that gets handed out during this time. But it's special to have that, and hopefully we can keep it going with different things that's in the front of that.
Yes.
Okay, so Claremore comes to town. This is the advantage of you winning a district. For those who don't follow playoff football as much, when you win your district, you host the first 2 games. That's really important because in Oklahoma, the second week they cross brackets from the east side of the state. So Collinsville will travel to Carl Albert. Del City, which you don't really see as an east side school, but that's where they place them. So Del City will play Guthrie, and that's kind of supposed to be an east-west matchup, and that's the only one that's not. But you guys have Claremore. So talk a little bit about, for those of us who don't really see these teams on a weekly basis, we don't see their scores. We're on the west side of the state, they're on the east side of the state. So kind of inform us a little bit about who they are and what you expect for Friday night.
Well, they're very talented. They're 10-1 for a reason. Secured the second spot in that district in 5A4, and they're good at what they do. They have a good quarterback that can throw it around, and they've got 3, a really good receiver, and then 2-3 other guys that can go and catch the football, and they're playing with a lot of confidence, and that's probably the main thing that jumps out at you is they won kind of a thriller last week with Sapulpa, and so that's the main thing, is playing with a lot of confidence, and they're good at what they do on offense and sound on defense. So it's a little bit different, when you scout a team that's on the other side of the state, because you have to throw a lot of things into the equation, schedule, records, because we don't know a lot about them.
Right.
We don't spend a lot of time doing that, so we've doubled down on trying to figure out exactly who they are and what they do and what they're good at and where their holes are. But ultimately, they're a second place district runner-up in 5A4. Some polls have them ranked in the top 5, and so we respect that, and we're still trying to figure them out. But on paper and on film, that's kind of what they do, and I think that's their identity on offense and defense.
Well, we're finally in football weather. You liking the practices right now? I mean,
man. It couldn't be better. And then the sunset's been beautiful on the drive home every day. So
and I don't want to jinx it, but no wind. I mean, it's been really calm. It's just really kind of I've asked for fall weather with our 108-degree summers that we had that lasted forever. I said, can we ever get to fall? And when we did, it's really been nice. It's not been volatile. Knock on wood. It's been pretty good. Weather's going to be pretty good for this week too, and for the games and the matchups. And Fridays was excellent. I couldn't believe it. I just had to pinch myself to say, is this really Oklahoma football on a Friday night? Okay, so a little film study with Coach. We're going to break it down. I wanted to be able to, since we had you here as our guest, we're gonna start a little bit on offense here, and you can kind of give us a little rundown of this play right here.
Okay, so we're running our counter play here, and we're gonna run it back here.
Yeah, it's gonna go back and loop.
Okay, yep. Great down blocks on the front side. Jace and Keith are down blocking here, which allows us to pull on the front side with Hudson.
Yeah, look at all those blockers downfield.
And, just really, really secured. We read the log block and get around it, and I believe 1, 2, we could get to pull 3 here, and we're in great position. We're untouched, and that's why I sent it in. I just thought we played with really good technique up front. Receivers are blocking downfield, and Ritson. Is that Ritson? Yeah.
Yes.
Ritson
gets the score. Yeah.
Yep, reads it as well. Because he's got a lot to read with those pullers, and there's a lot going on with the counter play.
And, he doesn't get as much, pub because, he's behind Lund, but, he's an underclassman, and you talk about the future is bright, when you got that, that type of runner that's still going to come back in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a great 1-2 punch right now, and Ritson's learning a lot from Matt, and we're excited for him in the future. All
right, here's the second one, which is a sweep going to the left, I think, is what I've got that matched up.
Yep, another one of our counter variations where we run it to our inside receiver. We get to pull 2 here with one of our tight ends being Adam Eaton, who's here tonight. And, we try to set up this with some flow on the outside zone play and get defenses out of position. And Brody's pretty fast, and he can get the edge. And it's just a good wrinkle to what we do offensively and another element to making us hard to defend.
Well, and the other thing is we talk about defense, so let's talk a little bit about what you guys bring, and you bring it right there.
Yeah, right here. I sent this in because I was proud of our pursuit here. This is Shea Spencer, I believe Jace Williams, and Colin Donnelly on play. I mean, at the hash, I think the ball snapped, left middle to left hash side, and then we got our nose guard, end and Mike linebacker all colliding to make a play for about.
Yeah, and this is three.
Yeah,
look at the clock. It's 3.5 minutes still in the third quarter, up 14-0, and still playing with that kind of intensity. Okay, and then let's go over to this defensive stop here.
Yeah, here we go. First,
right there.
First drive of the game. First third down of the game.
Oh, that sets the tone, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Colin Donnelly had a hell of a game. Defeats blocks and makes a play right there to force a 4th down. He's playing at a very, very high level for us, and that's what we've wanted from him. And this is a good time for him to do it, too, at the end of the year. So
yes.
really, really, really pleased with our defense overall and the way that they're, just hungry to get to the ball and not be blocked. So I hope we can continue that going into this week.
And coaches like to grade out those kind of plays right there.
Yeah,
those are the things some hand out stickers, for certain things in the back of the helmet. That's sticker worthy right there.
That's sticker worthy.
So what is your keys to the game for this week for the Elgin Owls?
Yeah, we've got to continue to improve. I told them today we want to continue to play our best football at the end of the year. And here we are, and I think it's a great opportunity to go do that Friday. What's that look like? We need to be sound, obviously. We need to get pressure on defense, and we need to be great in coverage. So it's really the complete opposite of what last week brought to us with the Flexbone and Piedmont defensively. And we're looking forward to that. And offensively, I feel like we need to continue to do what we do. We use Matt in a lot of different ways, and when they focus on him, then we're gonna have some advantages, some shots with our receivers out wide and tight ends, and continue to be hard to defend. And that's what we want to do. And ultimately end any drive with a kick. And so that's big time playoff football, taking care of the football and doing those things.
Well, and then you're also your AD with Coach Hitt. He really puts the word out, as far as I like that about the fan base, and they get there early. I was telling, people that said that, they get there at a certain time to make sure they want their place. And we talked about how full it's been. I think you've got it down where this is your last send-off, before you go to a neutral site. This is a last chance for the Elgin Owl faithful fan base to show up at home.
Yeah, it's funny we were talking about that. Back in the day when we were on the other side of the stadium, we would have parents come in on Wednesdays, early as Wednesdays, and tape down their blankets.
And tape them down.
Yeah,
okay,
so
all right.
I think it was Coach Hughes and I was in the office. Our track coach has been there for a long time. We said, "You think we'll see that again?" I think I looked out there like Friday at noon, and I saw some people.
So already had
down. Yeah.
This is my spot. It's been there all year. So, well, come one, come all. It's going to be a fun night. We're not done with you because you're going to come back at the conclusion with our players that we've got in the house, but we've also got both of our assistant coaches as well, and we'll talk to both of them. We'll take a timeout and be back to more of our coaches show live at the Hangout right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton's newest hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road. A family-friendly atmosphere featuring their award-winning pizza and calzone, made fresh daily from their secret family recipe. With handcrafted burgers, wings, appetizers, salad, and homemade desserts, including deep-fried banana pudding. Come hang out with us. The Hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road in Lawton.
Well, you were able to see some of the teams that we are going to be featured on Friday because we have 5 teams in action on the Oklahoma Sports Network. Pre-games at 6:30, kickoffs at 7 o'clock. We were talking with the Elgin Owls, of course, hosting Claremore. You've got Del City in a great matchup with Guthrie. You have Carl Albert taking on Collinsville, and you also have Newcastle taking a long trip. I'm going to be actually heading out there, out east on I-40 to Podo, number 1 team in 4A, and Walters will be traveling to Dibble, and so we'll be tracking them as well. Hopefully we can see them and a little bit later on in the show. But they are a little bit different category because there's so many in Class A that they are not in quarterfinals right now. They're not in the final 8. They've got 16 teams still playing for Friday, and there will be a week after everybody's championships get finished. But we're down to the final 8 in Class 5A quarterfinals. This is a special time of the year, and I got to say congratulations. Let's get over here. I could take that and put you up as Jack, and I did the wrong side there. Adam Castro, offensive coordinator. Let's talk a little bit about how special it is to have these kind of weapons on a team. You know, some teams, okay, you've got a running back, we stop him, and then that's pretty much how it goes. Or maybe you've got a quarterback with maybe a little bit of a helper with a wide receiver. But with this many weapons, how do you actually game plan with outside of what the defense is going to bring you with that kind of success that you have?
It's a lot of fun, I'll tell you that. It spoils of the riches there. We've had 16 players score a touchdown this year, which is quite a high number. And one of them is our right tackle. He scored twice on a pick six.
I was there for one of them, and I just can't. I can't even remember. I've called since you were a player, so it's been how long I've been doing this. I don't ever remember, okay, I maybe batted down, maybe a catch, but then a score out of it. Yeah. Those are a little bit different. You don't see that as many.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, going back to what you said, we have a lot of guys that can really play and really explosive guys. Two excellent receivers out wide with Trey Crabtree and Michael Adesola, 2 very dependable guys. And then we can go 2 guys in our slot with Peyton Christensen and Brody Morrison, both complement each other pretty well, kind of like our backfield with Matt and Ritson, 2 guys that have different styles but also just bring a different dynamic to the game that you've got to prepare for with what they bring. And, again, the quarterback has played phenomenal this year. He has 29 touchdowns now after this last week, and that's more than he had in the previous 2 years combined. So he's had a phenomenal, huge improvement, and he makes us really go. And then we have a great tight end room with a guy you're going to talk to here in a little bit, Adam Eaton, and then Colin Donnelly as well plays tight end who's here, and then Andre Crabtree. I think together they have 6 touchdowns on the year, which is really cool. And so it's just we've got a lot of guys we can get the ball to, and it really starts up front with the offensive line, and we have a really physical, big, really, really good with their technique, and just guys that play really well together that really want to win. And that's kind of what it takes. And so we're really blessed with just a great group of kids.
Lucky to get that offensive line. That's what a lot of teams struggle with. They said, well, wait, if we were just a little bit bigger. And for an Elgin community to have that, and put that together has just really been impressive. And now you've Trace Laura, who's our quarterback that's coming in, only a junior. You've raised the bar of expectations now. If you said, okay, he's bested the last other 2, well, then what is he going to do for his senior year? That puts a little bit more to that he's going to have to concentrate about coming back. Okay, so you broke down all the film. You got your practices in for this week for Claremore. So what kind of defense are we going to see from them, and what are you going to have to attack for a win on Friday?
They're defensively, they're predominantly a 4-man front. They'll get some 3-man front at times. In the back end, they'll play some man, and they also play mainly man, but they'll also get some zone coverage to you. And they're a team that plays really, really hard, and they're going to fly around with the football. And you can see their efforts really, really something that really gets them in the right spots at the right times, and they've done a good job, and it's going to be tough, but we've got a bunch of tough kids, and we like the game plan that we put together this weekend. Coach Chase, Coach White, and myself worked really hard of obviously watching all of their games, and we don't have all of their games, but everything's on YouTube, so we've had to go back and watch. And
yeah, I know.
They're streaming, just like people do for OSN and
yes,
us. So
I know it's technology.
It's good we have that, and we're really looking forward to the opportunity to go out in front of our home crowd and go against a really good competition, and hopefully do things our way and snap the ball, protect the football, block really well, and do what we do, kind of our recipe for success.
Oh yeah, and you've kept that rolling, as far as what last year was. And then you got to your first playoff win there at home. You won the district. That was another thing that you came up short last year. So a lot of new with that success this year that just keeps building and adding on to it. I'm going to ask you this because you've been a guest with us for a little bit, a couple of times this year. You get a little dose of what Coach saw in the early stages, and we'll get to talk about this. Underclassmen, we already know the names and the roster. The fans know the typical, but you see on a day-to-day basis of names to watch for the future that are coming up that you have been impressed with.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Well, we have quite a bit of juniors on that are starting now, but the sophomore class is pretty good as well with Ritzenmeyer and Brody Morrison, and you kind of know those names. We have a guy named Zayden Roberts he's an offensive lineman who's he's just improved so much this year, and he's a great kid to have around. He never leaves a scout huddle. He's a number 2 right now, and he's a kid that you're going to really see going forward. That you're going to be surprised at how you won't notice him being in the position he is, because if you're an offensive lineman and you get noticed, you're probably either spectacular or not very good. And so you're going to see Zayden Roberts step in and play some, and then you're not going to see any drop off there.
Yes, it's almost like Ritzenmeyer.
Absolutely.
You don't see when Lund goes out. You say, okay, well now you got you're going to get a good dose of it. So yeah. And
then speaking of Ritzen, his little brother Kason Meyer's freshman. He scored a couple times this year.
Okay.
And he's a spectacular athlete, and he's also kind of on that trajectory, and him being around. The more weeks we go into this playoff run, the more practice he gets and the more development he gets, and he's another kid that's going to be a spectacular football player. Is a very good football player, and he has a really high ceiling as well. We've got some really good classes coming up. Our current 9th graders have lost 1 game in the last 3 years, so it's a really good group.
I've noticed a lot of coaches that are really, and it's good for the program too, to talk about their freshman classes and what they're doing to other schools, and then they post that, and you say, okay, well, notice that, look what's coming. This rich tradition of a program that you've stated that this is going to continue not only for these 2 years, but the future is bright. You get the freshman class right behind them coming right up.
Yeah, and that's kind of tough, whenever you get a 9th grade group that's really good, it's pretty rare, because, a lot of times you look at our varsity roster, it's not or our varsity depth chart, it's not senior all the way through.
Right.
So you get to pick and choose from different classes. So you might see a 7th grade team that goes 4-4 in their 8 games or whatever, and their 8th grade team's the same way. But whenever you can pick and choose and put them together for a varsity roster, it looks drastically different, and their record be so much different. So that's what's really cool about having such a dominant 9th grade group, is that it kind of shows you there's no really weak spots in this in this class, which is really a big benefit for us, and really gives us more opportunity to develop those other guys in different classes that might not have every piece to the puzzle.
Adam Castro, offensive coordinator for the Elgin Owls, joins us during this Coaches Show. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. You got a new arrival at home. You got all the emotions of this season. Have you been able to take in any of these moments at all? Because they always say, cherish it, that comes too fast, and summer, and then all of a sudden summer pride's over, and then all of a sudden we're into the season, and now you look back. Did you have any of those reflection moments to enjoy some of this time?
I think I try my best to do that, but I probably don't take enough time to do it. I think after a game you're sitting in the office and you're scrolling through scores, looking at other games, but then you kind of look around and like, well, I've been around Matt Lund and Keith Ferguson and Peyton Christian and Michael Addisole for so long, and how special they are to me, and then you go out to practice on Monday and it's period 3 of offense and you're an individual, and it's like, well, I've coached zone combos with Keith for a long time, and I don't get to do it forever.
Right.
So I'm going to take it in right now. And
yeah.
It might not be a big moment of reflection, but it's definitely just little thoughts in your head. It's like, you better take it in, because it's a special group.
It is. It's very special, and everybody acknowledges that. And we're just taking the ride of success along with it, because we're enjoying the ride that you guys have provided. Undefeated season. There's just so many records to talk about, so many accomplishments, and you're not finished. And that's the good news. Is hopefully next week we're going to be talking about a semifinal matchup.
Exactly.
And they always say, coaches say, if you're practicing on the week of Thanksgiving, you've done stuff right.
That's right.
That's
Thanksgiving's the second best day of the year practice. The Monday afterwards is the best day of the year.
There you go. So we're keeping the train rolling. Okay, so we're at the Hangout. Come join us. They got the pizza. Of course, they got burger baskets. They got the lunch special. They got karaoke Wednesday. They got brunch on the weekends, and they got football. In fact, I was told that on the last Friday night, they had all of the games on the network up here, and there was different fans that couldn't go to the games, and so we enjoyed here at the Hangout, so we'll keep that rolling as well. We'll be back. Of course, we've got players in the house. We've got Jack Baker in the house, and we're going to talk to Coach Chalmer Wyatt one last time as well. We'll continue on with our Coaches Show right here on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton's newest hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road. A family-friendly atmosphere featuring their award-winning pizza and calzone, made fresh daily from their secret family recipe, with handcrafted burgers, wings, appetizers, salad, and homemade desserts, including deep-fried banana pudding. Come hang out with us. The Hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road in Lawton.
Yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want. Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, we're back here at the Hangout, where you can hang out with us each and every week. We'd like for you to be here because it's, and hopefully next week as well, as the Coaches Show has been starting with our Media Day in August, talking about the teams and what they represented and what was going to happen, and then a full regular season, first week of the playoffs, and then, of course, as you just saw, the little promo that's talking about 5 of our schools in the network that are still playing in the playoffs, and Elgin Owls, one of them. And we'll go right over to the defensive side of the thing since we went to offense with Adam Castro, Coach Jack Baker. Jack, we can just keep going on and on, but we'll go as far as the success. But talk about what the strength of this defense has been for you this year.
I think the strength of this defense has been our kids. I mean, they just they take coaching so well. They really put in the work, and then all they do is go execute on Fridays. And they're a big physical bunch. Well, maybe not all of them are big, but it's a physical bunch, and I just know the type of effort and grit that they play with. I think it's been the strength of it all year.
You want that tenacity. You want that, where do you think that comes from, that the toughness? Because, I mean, how do you create that as a coach? You may have someone that has all the specs. They come off the bus, and they look the part, but they just don't have the toughness part. So where does that grit come from?
Man, it's weird. I don't really know. I think with this group, it's been through what they've had to go through to get to the point that they're at. From where they were back in 4A to coming into 5A to learning how to win, it takes something special in a group to say, 0-8 is not going to be it for us. And,
right.
And so I think that that just that mentality and that toughness that they built over that time, go through them tough times, come out, learn to face adversity, and come out on the other side in a way better position, I think is.
Well, sometimes that clicks for teams, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, you think, okay, well, you think they've learned that or they don't want that, they had a good taste of it. But this team has really put that together and on their shoulders. And like you said, really coming from the 4A, 5A last year, and then really the success of it that just took off, and then you just built from there. Let's talk a little bit about what we talked about with the offensive coordinator, some of the underclassmen that you're working with that you're excited about for the Elgin Owl future.
We still got quite a few juniors there sitting in the lineup that everybody knows about. Colin Donnelly and Jace Williams, Shea Spencer. Some guys I'm looking forward to seeing grow. Tristan Kephart, he's played a little bit in a reserve role for us. I think has an opportunity as we move forward. Braxton Antuna, outside linebacker, and that's going to be a big spot of need as we move forward past this year. Braxton is going to be another one of those guys. Bryce Martin plays in a reserve role in the secondary. So those are all guys coming. Zayden Roberts, guys just Philip Peebushy, guys coming along, Casey Myers, those kind of things. So.
Okay, and then let's just talk about the Claremore matchup. Both coach and we have addressed on both sides of what you have to see and trying to get more film to kind of, and coach, I think, put it right, for when you're playing an East Side team, you may hear their name, you may hear a score or two, but you really don't know who they are because you don't have any common opponents. You don't play each other. I know this was years ago that, before it was the West versus the East and they meet for a state title. And then I think it was the Jinx Union setup that they said, well, it's really not fair for us to exit out, if we're some of the better teams. So let's cross bracket, from the east side to the west side. And that's been done years ago. And since they've done that, it kind of puts a little, like I was joking with Newcastle, from here. For Newcastle, it's a 3-hour drive. For us here, it's 4 hours to go to Poto.
Yeah.
And you say Poto is ranked number 1 in the state, and I'm thinking, I got to go do some research. I have no clue who they are. So what did you find out about Claremore on film that you've got to be prepared for Friday night's matchup?
Oh, they're a really good football team. I mean, they're 10-1, second in the district.
Now, who is their only loss to?
Bishop Kelly.
Okay, Bishop Kelly.
Is that right?
All right.
That right? Yeah.
Someone will fact check you. They'll have it.
But they're 10-1, one district loss.
Yeah.
They've won 3 games by 1. And
Wow.
I think a makeup of a team that can do that is pretty special. Got a really talented quarterback and a really talented receiver. It's got some speed on them. Some good size up front. They're well coached. Their team's going to try to formation you to death. A lot of shifts and formations and motions and things of that nature. So we're going to have our eyes right and get adjusted to all that stuff so we don't beat ourselves by misalignments. But with our defense, it's kind of built in. So easier to adjust with what we do. So we're just going to have to make sure our eyes right and not let them formation us and get something silly and then go play football and win the line of scrimmage. And that's been our recipe all year. I'm a firm believer, and Kelly Beebe at Guthrie for a long time. He said, to win in the playoffs, you got to be able to run the ball and stop the run.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer in that. And do that, we got to win the line of scrimmage, which we did last Friday, and it's going to take another great effort on our part.
And that coach got his work cut out for him with that Dell City game.
Yes, he does.
Boy, you like to be a fly on the wall. Of course, that's going to be on the network. We're going to have that game.
Yeah, I'm going to go back and watch that probably on Saturday because I think that'll be a dandy for sure. It's a heck of a second-round matchup.
Oh, I
sure.
know. And I know that, it's like, you didn't expect it because we were talking about cross bracketing. Well, Dell City, that's in the metro. That's not an East school, but because they separated Dell City and Carl Albert together, kind of like what they do with Eisenhower and MacArthur, they kind of put them in the East. By the way, Dell City comes back next year into your district, but that's where they were, and so they played all those East schools. They played Coweta, they played McAllister. Those teams that you kind of semi hear from, and so I would say of 5A, you guys, you're the Cinderella story that everybody's been talking about of look at Elgin, look what they did last year, look what they've expected. Guthrie, they're talking about their defense, and they talk about, they had 7 shutouts, and I got to see them with MacArthur this past week, 7 shutouts in the season. But Dell City is probably the quietest winning team in 5A that I can see because they're undefeated. They have 5 shutouts, and really they're not getting the pub like Carl Albert that they have to share because that's a district foe. But that's how this goes, and so you just gotta. That's why you play the schedule. You play the game in front of you. So what is your keys to the game? We talked about Coach Chalmer with his keys to the game for you defensively. What is your keys to the game outside of turnovers, penalties? You want to eliminate those in big games like that. But what else could it be for this Friday?
It's get lined up, play fast, play physical, get the ball back to our offense and go score. And that's where we're at every week. I firmly believe we get the ball back, our offense is going to find a way to punch in the end zone. That's how good they are.
Yeah.
And so
well, it's nice to have an offense like that, right?
yeah. It takes the pressure off calling
sure
defense,
does.
I'm telling you. But that I'm a firm believer in that. We got to get lined up, play fast, play physical, play our brand of football. Be aware of where their strengths are, find number 9 in the receiving game and make sure we got him covered up and get pressure on the quarterback while not letting him escape. And then, it always comes down to stop and run. I don't care if the team throws it, 80% of the time. We got to stop the run first, and I feel real good about it though. And
how special will it be at home? Home field advantage is supposed to mean something, and when you got a crowd like you have on Friday nights, that kind of helps too, right?
That's what you say. Have you been to an Elgin game?
Oh, yeah.
That's
I have
as
been.
wild That's as wild as an atmosphere
Yeah.
that I think you can be in high school.
And how loud it gets.
Yeah, and
I know that the team that we were covering with MacArthur, they had to go to silent count on once because he couldn't hear the cadence, and the tackle on the near side home side was saying I'm not hearing the call.
Defensive lineman telling like, Coach, I ain't hearing the call, so they're all looking at me too. And so, but that's good problems to have. I'll take it because they get rowdy. You can't talk enough about the support that we have from our community, from our parents, from our fans, from school aspect of it. I mean, it's just everything right now. It's a really great time to be being Elgin now, that's for certain.
Well, and we talked to Adam Castro about that. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Have you been able to take in a little bit of this, for yourself to kind of – I know it's coming so fast. Can you enjoy any of these moments?
It's kind of funny. I told him in the office a couple of weeks ago, I said, you know what, Friday nights have been extremely fun. I said, but Saturday through Thursday, not so much, So try to enjoy it a little bit and celebrate those wins on Friday nights after they happen. But it's back to work because, make sure our kids are prepared and that they're in great position to go execute, and that's been my sole focus, and that's been our sole focus as a staff, and so I think there'll be time for reflection and enjoyment when it's all
when there's
said
a
and
banquet
done.
at the end of the year.
It's all said and done, but we're going to keep grinding right now.
Okay, and that's what we want you, focused on that. Okay, Jack Baker, defensive coordinator for the Elgin Owls here at the Hangout. We still got Coach Chalmer Wyatt is going to join us with all the players that we brought to congratulate. What a great season, and we're keeping it rolling here at the Hangout as we'll continue with our Coaches Show and be back right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton's newest hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road. A family-friendly atmosphere featuring their award-winning pizza and calzone, made fresh daily from their secret family recipe. With handcrafted burgers, wings, appetizers, salad, and homemade desserts, including deep-fried banana pudding. Come hang out with us. The Hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road in Lawton. Have hail damage on your vehicle? Look no further than Cars Hail Repair Specialists. They're locally owned and operated with certified PDR technicians and offer a lifetime warranty with zero out-of-pocket guarantee. They work directly with your insurance and they give a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Make sure you ask them about the $200 referral program. Cars Hail Repair Specialists. Give them a call today, 580-360-5050.
Yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want. Oh, oh, oh.
All right, back here at the Hangout for our Coaches Show. Boy, and enjoying this for the Elgin Owls. And Coach Chalmer Wyatt with us. So we got three players in the house, and we're going to introduce them shortly here. And we'll start with the junior quarterback and Trace Laura. And congratulations. There was our producer, who was also a former Elgin player, Clay Underhill, was giving me, I said, can you give me some stats? Because I knew he put some on the screen. And he said, okay, and he was he was Johnny on the spot with it. He said, okay, at the end of regular season, 28 touchdowns thrown, and you had one last week, makes it 29. Only 4 INTs and over 1,400 yards receiving. And I wasn't going to compare, and I know your family lineage, and I know there's a lot of competition there when it comes to some of that. And then you broke your brother's record. Because I said, well, okay, we've already talked about Lund and his record-breaking year. I said, where is he in that? He said, well, with his touchdown pass, it broke Garrett's record. And so how is that gonna handle on Thanksgiving next week?
Oh, probably raise a few arguments that will happen at the table.
Okay, and is it going to be because he didn't have the weapons that you had, or what is his his mantra going to be? What is it going to be?
Well, he was one of his wide receivers, so
okay, so
weapons
he's going to
probably weren't as great.
Oh my! This is coming. He's giving it to you, Coach. All right.
Still practice.
Yeah, I know there is. There's some hills and some extra laps to go. Okay, so Can you put this season in any words at all of how this has been? Teams will say, well, we've had ups and we have had downs. This has been a solid up, and it's not been looked back. So how best would you describe this season?
I mean, it's incredible. I mean, we just the work pays off that we put in the summer and back to the spring. We just worked every day, and glad to be where we're at. Okay,
now Coach is probably going to give it back to you in this way because I was told that, and this is from your offensive coordinator, that what you did this year surpassed your other 2 years combined. So what is that going to bring for expectations now for the fan base? Oh, he's a junior. He's coming back. What are we going to expect for your senior season then?
Yeah, really just want to get a ring, and then it'll start in the off season, and then we'll keep getting better and better.
Well, are you much of a film studier? I mean, on yourself. I know the teams do it collectively, but how much do you do a part of that, like the extracurricular on your own? How much film study do you do?
Yeah, I try to watch a lot of film on my own.
Okay, and then what have you seen on Claremore that is going to show on defense that you think that, with the coach calling it in, that our offense is able to take advantage of?
Yeah, they got a good defense. They're real talented in the back end. They'll make some good plays on the ball, and so we just got to be sound.
We've been bragging up the fan base, and they really need a lot of extra credit. There's some teams that say they're the 12th man. I really feel like in high school they probably are. I mean, the closest. I mean, it's probably one of the loudest for a high school experience that I've seen in some time. Help you, hinder you? I mean, when you're trying to, like some of the pros, they'll get down there and they'll try to hush the crowd down. So they say, hey, you're too loud for me. How has it been for you as far as the crowd?
Yeah, I kind of got used to it. It really doesn't affect me much on offense, but when we're on defense, I know it gets in the other quarterback's head.
Yeah, I know it could surely do that. And it's been a thrilling run, and good luck the rest of the way. And we hope to have you guys back next week and talk in semifinals because they say for you to coach and practice during Thanksgiving week, that's pretty special. I mean, yeah, you can get with your families, but to know that you're still on the field practicing for that next game, that's a pretty special feeling.
Yep.
All right, let's go down to the next. Give us your name since we don't have a jersey here, and I don't know. I knew Laura. He's been here a couple of times, so give us your name, your position, and what grade you're in.
My name's Colin Donnelly, and I'm a middle linebacker.
Okay.
And 11th grade.
Okay, so when I heard the Donnelly name, I said, okay, I already know. I already seen. If you had a jersey, I could have told you that. So kind of the same kind of thing. How exciting is it to play? Last year, you guys have been. Let's finish. Last year you kind of hosted a playoff game, and you came up shy, and it ended the season, and you kind of took that as a mantra over that. That's not going to happen this year, and it was all about business. You won the district. You won that first playoff game last week. How special was it last week to get that first playoff win for what Coach said, the first playoff home win in 13 years?
Yeah, it was great, man. We didn't like the taste we had in our mouth last year, so we worked really hard in the off season, and we're still going, but.
Yeah. What's this game going to be for Claremore? What have you seen that you have to, especially a linebacker? I mean, coaches have already talked about certain names and numbers that they've called out. We got to watch this person, and so what is that going to mean for you about your business on Friday?
Well, they got some good skill players, and we're going to have to cover well and get home to the quarterback.
Okay, and then you're on the flip side because, Trace is here on offense, so it's not as much. But on defense, when they're really giving it to that offense, how does that crowd, does that kind of energize you? What does it give you from that side when they're really getting loud?
I mean, it just makes me really proud that my fans are that loud, and
I know
the QB over there is struggling.
Yeah, I know, because you've gone to other visiting stadiums. Have you ever seen a stadium filled for their home side like you guys do yours?
No, not really.
And you're being truthful about that because I travel with these and see these, and you kind of see some sparse sections, and I don't even think that there's a seat available. And if Coach says they're already taping down blankets for their reserve section, like on Friday, they're already ready, so ready to go, ready to roll.
Yep.
All right, so we got one more down on the end. Save the best for last, right?
Always.
Okay, so give us your name and your position, please.
Name's Adam Eaton. I'm on tight end.
Okay, tight end. And what's it like to, tight end is really, Oh, I think in the last several years, especially at not only collegiate level but the pro level, I mean, tight ends used to be, okay, he's a blocking guy and you're going to run. Okay, well, now it's versatile where he's going to be a good blocker, but he also has to have hands to catch because we're going to throw it to him. And then, I think New England kind of started that, in the Gronkowskis, and then, it went on the Kelsey. You just get all those tight end stuff. What do you think that's brought back to the position as far as, back in my day, tight ends were kind of a subservient. Well, okay, they're a blocker, basically, and now that's not the case. So what do you feel about that in that position?
Well, I still do a lot of blocking.
I understand that.
Yeah, our run game is really strong, but when Trace can see me open, he'll throw me the ball. So
can he trust you in that? I'm looking at him, so he said.
Hey,
okay, now I'm going to ask you this, because wide receivers, probably tight ends don't do this. Wide receivers always campaign for the ball. I mean, in some ways, hey, I'm open, or I can beat this guy. They don't even know that the offensive coordinator's called in a play yet. Do you kind of, give him words of advice to say you can throw to the tight end here?
In practice, sometimes. I guess it depends on the play.
Okay. And when he throws it to you, does it have a little zip on it, or does he put a little bit of air underneath it for you, or what is it?
Usually some zip.
Yeah, tight ends usually get that. The softer ones are the ones that are a little bit deeper downfield. Yeah.
Like throwing it up.
How has the season been for you? I mean, I've asked every one of these coaches, have you been able to take in the moments of this year? You as a player, have you done the same thing? I mean, we're talking about 10 weeks of regular season, 1 week of playoffs, and he says 1 of 4. You don't want to continue on that, but have you really kind of enjoyed this season up to this point?
Yeah, definitely. Last season I didn't play too much, but
right.
This season I guess I worked for it, and it's a lot more meaningful to.
And since you're not done, and so you're not at that pinnacle there, how would you like to get better and improve forward? I mean, after the season's over and you get in the summer and you get into workouts and you say, okay, you know what? I know that I didn't play a lot last year. This year I got my chance. I want to continue and grow on that. How would you say that you'd like to improve in your game?
Definitely on the blocking part of tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and put on some size in the off season.
Yeah, that's the no fun part is where everybody says. But you know what? It comes down to this. Coaches will always say it comes down to the fundamentals of football, and what is it? Blocking, tackling. Yeah. The first one is blocking. So other people may say it may not be as glorious, and they've got a lot of credit to the offensive line. Very physical and open up holes, and you've got a great successful pattern there. But good to be in Elgin Owl this year.
Yeah, every year.
Yeah, well, that's good too. And I know that there is a couple of weeks ago there was this kind of mantra of respect. I think you've earned that, but do you think you're getting that now from the rest of the state and other teams now?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Coach, I want to end with you on this. It's like we kind of get to this part of the season, and I got to say in the very first, and this goes back to when you guys scrimmaged Carl Albert, and I think you showed them and they showed, because I got some calls and they said, this Elgin Owl team is for real, and at the end of this season – it's going to look, and it's shaping up to be this way. It looks like the player, the teams from this side, the West, I really can't comment on the East, the ones that are going to emerge to the top, Carl Albert, Del City, and Elgin. What's it like to be in that conversation there? Carl Albert, a state returning champion that's trying to replicate that, and you have these 3 that were mentioned so far back. It wasn't like, oh, okay, after week 5 we kind of saw you coming. This was stated back in August.
Yeah, I mean, feels good. If you asked me this 4 years ago, you dang right I would have took it. But it's something we work for. And, going into spring camp, we had a great scrimmage with, Carl Albert, Southmore, and Edmond North. And, we did that because I thought that, we wanted to go find out what we were about. And I thought that was a good point for us to start for the season, going into our summer pride and then moving into the fall camp and then fast forward to here we are. So I'm proud that we've continued to build on that, where we were as a team. And I think it's a good point where we have a great opportunity to go show that again.
Okay.
And we got to keep working for that.
Now, I'm going to a little plug for the Hangout because you had one of my favorites. You said you had the wings, and you had the sriracha wings.
Yes.
How were they?
Oh, they're excellent, yeah. Good heat, good flavor.
I like that.
A lot of meat. So
yeah, and that's the 2 things: a lot of meat, and there was good flavor and a little bit of a kick. Not too much. I don't like it where I need gallons of water to douse it out, but I like a little bit of heat on some stuff. All right.
Yep.
Well, let's keep this thing rolling. I guess we'll invite you back next week. You want to make that a reservation right here?
Let's do it.
All right, so we'll do that for Thanksgiving week. That means we're going to the semifinals and the Elgin Owls. And so we're going to wrap things up here shortly here at the Hangout. We'll be back right after this on the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Lawton's newest hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road. A family-friendly atmosphere featuring their award-winning pizza and calzone, made fresh daily from their secret family recipe. With handcrafted burgers, wings, appetizers, salad, and homemade desserts, including deep-fried banana pudding. Come hang out with us. The Hangout, 5370 Northwest Cash Road in Lawton.
Well, one last time here at the Hangout here at Cash Road, right across from Anderson Pharmacy. I want to thank the Elgin Owls for being our guests today. Walters Blue Devils are scheduled to try to be here, but they had a conflict with their scheduling and being able to get here, and then the 30-minute trip to get here. But we wish them well to try to play Dibble. That is going to be this coming Friday. So we got 5 games on the network. Let's go right down through them. 6:30 for the pregame, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. We talked about the Elgin Owls. They are hosting Claremore in Elgin, and we'll have that pregame at 6:30, so you can join us. And then we have up in the metro area, we have Carl Albert, who's hosting Collinsville. That will be a 6:30 kickoff, a 6:30 pregame and a 7 o'clock kickoff. And then you have Del City taking on Guthrie. That was in Del City. They are hosting that as district champions. And then that's on the network as far as Newcastle taking the long bus ride down I-40 right over by Fort Smith, Arkansas, as they take on the number 1 team in Class 4A with Poto. So we'll be having that on the network. And as we mentioned, Walters playing Dibble. So we have 5 on the Oklahoma Sports Network that's in action. You can download us for free. And some people will say, hey, I put down my credit card or debit card. You don't pay for anything on the Oklahoma Sports Network. It's free to download, free to watch. Just search the Oklahoma Sports Network in your Apple and iTunes account or your Google store for your Androids. We're on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. We're also on YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook, and you can watch us there. As for those who are watching us on Facebook Live, like us and follow us there, because then you'll see what's up next for us, especially with games coming up. We continue probably next week with some semifinal games as well that we're anticipating that some of these teams will still be in action. So we're glad to bring it to you because sports is our middle name. So for the Hangout here on Cash Road and for the Elgin Owls, we want to thank you for joining us this evening and hopefully see you back next week and Friday night for our pre-games everywhere. You've been watching a presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.
Yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm on top, can't be stopped, shooting my shot. Oh, 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 yeah, I'm the one, I'm a legend, get what I want.
Thanks for watching this presentation of the Oklahoma Sports Network.